They move forward alone in silence. They fish with their bare hands, rip open termite mounds, turn over the earth, climb tree trunks, and without making a sound, they reshape entire ecosystems. People often say the bear as if there were only one. Wrong. There are 8 species, 8 worlds, 8 ways to survive. Each with its own morphology, territory, rituals, and various threats. Today we're setting off on a journey around the globe. From the Arctic ice to the humid forests of Southeast Asia, to discover who bears really are and why their fate is closely tied to ours. Bears belong to the Ursidae family. They are generally massive plantigrade mammals. They place the entire sole of their foot on the ground, which gives them stability and strength. Their bodies are designed for adaptation, highly developed shoulders and forearms for digging, turning over rocks, tearing wood, an exceptional sense of smell to locate food and other bears from a distance, and flexible diets. Most are omnivores, except for one highly specialized exception, and a key survival strategy in several species: winter dormancy, often called hibernation, with variations depending on the species. Bears also have a low reproductive rate, with few offspring who remain dependent on their mother for a long time. As a result, when a population declines, it takes years to recover. Body size varies greatly. The smallest is often the sun bear, compact, agile, and forest-dwelling. At the other extreme, the polar bear dominates the Arctic food chain. This diversity in size reflects a reality. Bears are not just a single model, but a whole family of adaptations. Let's start with the brown bear. It reigns over a vast territory, from the frozen forests of Eurasia to the mountains of North America. And for this species, size is never fixed. Where nature overflows with food, especially near salmon rivers, some individuals become true giants. A loner by choice and a tireless walker, it lives as an opportunistic strategist. Its diet changes with the seasons: plants, berries, roots, insects, but also fish, carrion, and sometimes even large ungulates when the opportunity arises. When it comes to reproduction, biology plays the patience card. After mating in spring or summer, the female can practice delayed implantation. The embryo waits before implanting, and gestation truly begins only if the mother's body has accumulated enough reserves. Then, in the middle of winter, deep within the den, tiny cubs are born, completely dependent on her. Within the ecosystem, the brown bear is not just a predator, it is also a discreet architect. It disperses seeds, recycles carcasses, influences invertebrate populations, and contributes to the balance of certain prey species. But this giant remains vulnerable. Fragmented habitat, conflict with humans, and local poaching are all pressures that can tip these populations, even where the bear still seems dominant. More compact and often much more agile than the brown bear, the American black bear is an acrobat of the forests. A formidable climber, it moves between temperate and boreal forests, sometimes at the edge of our roads and cities. What's its secret? An ultra-flexible omnivore, it eats everything from fruits and acorns to insects, supplements its diet with small vertebrates, and never turns down a carcass. This versatility allows it to hold its own, even when the environment changes. When it comes to reproduction, the strategy is slow but reliable. Few offspring, a long period of maternity, extended nursing, and months, sometimes years, of learning before independence. In the ecosystem, it is much more than just a simple predator. It sows the forest by dispersing seeds and acts as a cleaner by recycling carcasses. But its proximity to humans comes at a cost: road collisions, waste that attracts it, shrinking habitats, and increasingly frequent conflicts. The polar bear is the exception that breaks the rules. The most carnivorous of all bears. Built for the extreme, its body is a fortress against the cold. A thick layer of fat, ultra-insulating fur, paws as wide as snowshoes to grip the ice. On a daily basis, it is a precision hunter. It mainly hunts seals, and its success depends on one vital element: the sea ice, its hunting ground. To give life, the female digs a den in the snow. The cubs are born in the middle of winter, fragile, and then stay by their mother's side for a long time, long enough to learn how to survive in a merciless world. In the Arctic, it reigns at the top, a super predator, but also a living warning sign. When the polar bear falters, the entire ecosystem trembles. And today, the threat is clear: the melting of the ice pack. Less ice means less hunting. which means less energy and fewer chances for the young to grow up. The giant panda is the living enigma of the Ursidae family, a bear that's almost vegetarian. It has bet everything on a single obsession, bamboo, a food that's everywhere, but so low in energy that it has to consume mountains of it to survive. Anatomically, everything is designed for this extreme diet. A vice-like jaw, molars shaped for crushing, and above all, the famous pseudo-thumb, a bony structure that acts as a clamp, allowing it to grasp and handle bamboo stalks with astonishing precision. In the forest, it lives in its own way, solitary, territorial, and governed by an unyielding routine of slow movements and long feeding sessions, as if its entire day revolves around a single program: eat and eat again. Its reproduction, meanwhile, is a biological challenge. The female is fertile only during a very brief window, and the newborns arrive in the world tiny, fragile, and dependent on her for a long time. But the panda is much more than an icon. It is an umbrella species. Protecting its bamboo forests and mountains means preserving an entire array of species that share the same refuge. And yet, its survival remains under pressure: fragmented habitats, human activities, and severed ecological corridors. Even though conservation efforts have led to real progress in certain areas, the panda remains a clear symbol. When the forest becomes fragmented, all of nature begins to crack. The sloth bear, a discreet star of South Asia, is not a big game hunter. It is an expert in termites and ants. Its body is built for this tiny yet inexhaustible menu. With its elongated snout, highly mobile lips, and an impressive technique for sucking up insects like a real living vacuum cleaner. Most of the time it operates at night, especially where habitats are disturbed. It moves silently, searches, digs, stops, listens, then locates a hidden termite mound before dismantling it with raw precision. When it comes to family, it plays it safe. Few offspring, but total investment. And a striking detail: the cubs can travel on their mother's back, clinging on as if to a mobile refuge.
Désintéressé de vous, faites-le mort.
It keeps certain insect populations in check, and by turning over the soil, it can restart essential nutrient cycles. But its survival is fragile. Deforestation, conflict with humans, and poaching are eating away at its territory and its chances for the future. Recognizable by its light-colored collar that stands out against its dark fur, the Asiatic black bear haunts the great forests, from the foothills of the Himalayas to the mountain ranges of East Asia. An omnivore of the undergrowth, it alternates between fruits, nuts, and insects, and sometimes supplements its diet with small vertebrates. Agile and powerful, it is also a formidable climber, capable of vanishing into the canopy in an instant. When it comes to reproduction, it relies on a strategy of patience. Few offspring and a long childhood spent close to the mother. A slow pace that makes the species vulnerable when numbers decline. But this bear is not just a forest dweller, it is a discreet architect. By spreading seeds and influencing the life of the undergrowth, it plays a vital role in maintaining the balance of the entire ecosystem. Today, its world is rapidly shrinking. Deforestation, conflict with humans, and the pressure of illegal practices, hunting and poaching, directly threaten its survival. The sun bear, often the smallest member of the family, is a specialist of tropical forests, adapted for heat, shade, and discretion. With its compact body, powerful claws made for climbing and ripping open tree trunks, and especially its astonishingly long tongue, it becomes a true extractor of the jungle. Honey, larvae, insects, nothing escapes it. Mostly nocturnal, it slips between the trees like a ghost. Its diet is opportunistic: fruits, insects, honey, and sometimes small prey. But behind this agility lies a fragility. Its reproduction is slow, and the young remain dependent on their mother for a long time. In the ecosystem, it plays a discreet but essential role. It spreads seeds as it moves and shapes the forest by opening tree trunks and digging through the soil. A true little engineer of life. The problem is, its world is closing in. Deforestation, particularly due to oil palm plantations, habitat fragmentation, poaching, and illegal trade, are putting the species under pressure everywhere the jungle recedes. As the only bear species in South America, the spectacled bear reigns over the Andes, where cloud forests swallow the mountains in a perpetual mist. Around its eyes, light markings form a mask unique to each individual, like a fingerprint. Mostly herbivorous but omnivorous, it feeds on fruits, bromeliads, and leaves, sometimes supplementing its diet with small animals. A tireless climber, it can even build real plant platforms in the trees, like secret observation posts. Few offspring and a long childhood. The young remain dependent, patiently learning the codes of a vertical world. A major seed disperser at high altitudes, it helps Andean forests regenerate and stay alive. But its kingdom is fragmenting. Loss of habitat, conflict with humans, and ecological fragmentation isolate populations and slowly push them toward silence. Despite their differences, the 8 bear species share the same weakness, a slow pace of life in a world that is speeding up. They have few offspring and their territory is being torn apart. When their food sources begin to vanish, scattered bamboo, retreating ice, or forest being cut down, it is the cubs who pay the price first. Bears are not just symbols of strength, they are living alarms, the very pulse of nature itself. Protecting a bear means protecting an entire interconnected chain of life. The forests, the rivers, the high mountains, and sometimes even the global climate. If you want more documentaries about top predators and keystone species, let us know which one you want in the comments.